all you action figure enthusiasts out there? JC here with another TNINews video. So today is Avengers Endgame Day for most of you, I would imagine. It's Thursday, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to be going to see the movie this evening or tonight. And if not tonight, then tomorrow or Saturday. But the movie does, here in the United States at least, officially opens this evening. I think it opened yesterday for some people overseas. So some of you watching this maybe have already seen the movie. Again, I saw it the other day at a press screening. I thought it was great for the most part. And, I can't wait to really kind of talk about it more, where we can really delve into, spoilers and stuff and kind of get into the crux of things. But overall, I definitely gave it a thumbs up, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it as well. Now for today's video, today's news video, this is mostly going to be just kind of a recap of things I've already talked about in previous news videos. We've gotten a bunch of last night, essentially, both Hot Toys and Tamashii Nations released official images for a lot of figures that we had previously seen, but now we've got the official images and details and everything like that. So I just kind of wanted to recap all of that stuff. And everything but this first figure I'm going to talk about is all Marvel related. So the first one I'm going to talk about here is the SH Figuarts Return of the Jedi Boba Fett figure. Actually, I take that back. There's two figures, both Star Wars related, that don't have anything to do with Marvel. But the first one is Boba Fett. Now, again, I did talk about this figure in a previous video. We'd seen a magazine scan show up online, but now we've got the official images and information. The figure, pretty basic as far as accessories go. You're going to get the jetpack. You're going to have his rifle. He's going to have multiple pairs of hands, but that's pretty much it. This is based on how his armor looked in Return of the Jedi, which was a little bit different from Empire Strikes Back. This figure is going to be released in September and should probably be going up for pre-order at places like Big Bad Toy Store here pretty soon. And then the other one that's not Marvel related is another Star Wars figure from Tamashii Nations. This one is part of their movie realization line, where they take the characters and make them look like samurais and stuff. So this is another Stormtrooper based on the First Order Stormtrooper, which really doesn't look that different from the regular Stormtrooper that they did previously. So this one comes with a sword and a blaster. This figure is also going to be released in September. So, if you're into this movie realization line, if you like these samurai-like figures, I mean, the Stormtrooper is kind of an army builder. But again, I don't think this one looks that different from the previous regular Stormtrooper that they've done. And they've done a lot of different variant Stormtroopers in this line. Stormtrooper seems to be one of the favorite kind of characters they like to do for those. But this, again, figure will be released in September. And again, like with Boba Fett, should be going up for pre-order pretty soon. Okay, now while we're on the subject of Tamashii Nations, let's stick with that, but now we're going to flip over to the Marvel side of things. So they announced or released official images for several Spider-Man figures. Now, this first one I actually haven't talked about before, but it's essentially, as far as I can tell, it's the tech suit Spider-Man that we saw from Homecoming. I guess he wears this suit again at some point in the Far From Home movie. So they're actually putting this figure under the Far From Home banner, but it seems like it's the exact same figure they previously released for Homecoming. Maybe there's some minor differences, I'm not entirely sure, but definitely to me, there's nothing here. If you already have the Homecoming version, I wouldn't see why you'd want to pick this one up. But this figure is going to be out in July. It comes with all the normal Spider-Man accessories, the webbing effects, the multiple pairs of hands, the multiple lenses. Also has the backpack like the previous version had. So, like if you missed out on the previous one and, you might want to get it here. But again, if you already have the Homecoming version, I'm just not really sure there's anything here worth getting the figure for a second time. Now, the other two Spider-Man figures that they announced are, and again, I've talked about both of these, is the one, the suit that he wears, I'm guessing primarily in Far From Home with the black colors on it. Not the still suit, but the what I would call his regular suit for this movie. And this one is going to be out in September. Again, it's going to have all the usual effects, the lenses, the webbing effects, the multiple hands and such. It's going to have a little piece so you can attach it to, if you have one of the Tamashii Nation flight stands, you can attach the figure to that. Pretty much all of the figures include those little pieces that you can add on for that. But this figure, again, is going to be out in September. And, like I said, if you're going to get a Spider-Man Far From Home figure, this is probably the one I would get over the tech suit. And, you know, I don't know how much he wears the suit. I mean, we know he's going to be wearing the all black suit, what they call the stealth suit at some point, because we've seen figures of that. I guess he's going to be wearing the tech suit at some point. Maybe even wears the Iron Spider-Man suit at some point from the Avengers movies, but I don't know. But anyway, again, this figure is going to be out in September. Hopefully they will be, I was really hoping that maybe they would surprise us and announce like a Mysterio figure or even a Molten Man figure for the SH Figuarts line. But at this point, it looks like they're just sticking with Spider-Man. And then the final figure for Spider-Man is the PS4 Spiderman. Again, I talked about this in a previous video. We'd seen the magazine scans, but now we've got the official images. Like with the others, this one will be out in September, and like with the other Spider-Man figures, it comes with your normal effects, the webbing, the hands, the eye lenses. You also get a few game-specific accessories, the spider drone, a couple grenades, and a smartphone. So things that you saw in the actual video game. And this one, out of the 3 Spider-Man figures, is probably the coolest. Though again, the Far From Home, the black suit, you know, the one with the more black in it, I think is kind of cool as well. But if I had to pick one of the 3 Spider-Man figures to get, this one would be it. I think it actually looks better than the Marvel Legend version, and you know, you've got the etched in webbing and everything, and just looks cleaner and such than the Marvel Legend version that we got as a GameStop exclusive. And then finally, for you SH Figuarts fans, we've gotten the official images for the Hawkeye figure from Avengers Endgame. So this one I talked about just yesterday in a news video, but again, we were going by just a magazine scan. So now we have the official images on this one. And as I mentioned yesterday, they are essentially making you buy 2 different versions of Hawkeye if you want both Ronin and Hawkeye. You know, they're doing Ronin with the hood and the mask and the 2 swords, and then they're doing this figure which doesn't have the hood and the mask. It has a bow. It has 2 versions of his bow, one just a normal bow and then one with an arrow in it, so you can pose him so it looks like he's firing the arrow. You also get his quiver that has arrows in it. He's got the glove with, you know, that you see bowmen wear for, you know, protecting their fingers, and he also is wearing the quantum watch thing, which you do see him have in the movie. So, and the head sculpt here in these images do look better than what we saw with the magazine scan. I wasn't too impressed for what I was looking at in the magazine scan, but here I definitely think it looks better. I'm not sure if it really looks better than the Marvel Legend version, but again, it does look improved over what we saw with the magazine scan. So this figure again will be available in September. Should probably be going up for pre-order pretty soon here. So check your favorite e-tailer that sells SH Figuarts. Okay, now the final 2 figures I want to talk about today are both from Hot Toys. Now this first one is Captain America from Endgame, and this one I have talked about before. We've seen images. We've seen it on display at some of the exhibits or events that Hot Toys has been visiting, but now we've got the full official images and details. So this is Cap wearing his pretty standard outfit that we saw. It's very similar to what we saw in like Civil War and even Age of Ultron. It is his regular Captain America outfit, which he does wear in the movie. And you get an unmasked head, which looks really good. Definitely looks like Chris Evans, the unmasked head. You're getting multiple facial expressions with this one. You're getting his shield, which does have some scratch marks on it, which is movie accurate. I'm not going to go into details, but that is movie accurate. He's going to come with a display stand and multiple pairs of hands. He's going to come with a little compass thing that has Peggy Carter's image in it, which is something that plays a role in the movie, and we've seen in other movies as well. Now, there are 2 other accessories that will be coming with this figure that they are not revealing. Being I've seen the movie, I have a pretty good guess on what both of those accessories are. And once you see the movie, you will probably be able to figure it out as well. I'm not going to tell you because, again, that would be very spoilerish. But, you know, once you see the movie for yourself, I think it'll be pretty apparent what those 2 remaining accessories will be, which I actually think will be pretty cool and make this figure worth getting, even if you have, like, say, the Civil War version of Captain America, which I think is very similar to this figure. Those 2 remaining accessories, I think, will actually add a lot of value to this figure. And then the final figure is Hot Toys' new Endgame Black Widow figure. So I can't recall if we've seen this one. I don't think I've really talked about it in a previous video. So, you know, this is really our best look at this figure. and maybe our first look. I can't entirely remember if it was maybe on display at one of the events Hot Toys had, but again, I don't think I've really talked about this one, and definitely this is giving us our best look at the figure. So this is based on the character in the new movie, obviously, and she's wearing, pretty much that kind of basic black suit that we see her wear. I think this is the same outfit she had primarily in Infinity War, minus the vest, the green vest that she had on in the movie. But this is definitely something you see her have in this movie quite a bit, and it's got, really the big difference is there's some added red to it, which I like. I think this is probably one of the best looking versions of Black Widow as far as costumes go. She's got the pistols with the gun belts, and she's got the batons with the backpack piece, so you got, you can put the batons in the backpack piece, and you've got the display stand and the multiple pairs of hands and everything. She's got the long red hair with this version with the blonde tip, which again is something that's movie accurate, and I do think that overall this face sculpt looks really good. And this is probably I would say, if I was going to get any Hot Toys Black Widow figure, this is probably the one that I would get. Oh, and the batons do fit together, so you can make it one large staff, like we saw in Infinity War and such. So if you've got the Infinity War Black Widow, as far as the accessories go, this is pretty much the same that we saw with that. But overall, I like this figure. I like the look of it. I like the face sculpt and everything. And I do think this is a nice figure. Now, I don't have specific release dates yet. These figures have not yet gone up for pre-order, but should be going up pretty soon. So I would just keep checking your favorite e-tailer like Big Bad Toy Store within maybe later today, but if not today, by tomorrow or Monday at the latest, I would say. Okay, so that's it for today as far as news go. Now, if you haven't checked out my non-spoiler review that I have up on Marvelous News for Avengers Endgame, please do before you go see the movie, assuming you haven't seen the movie yet already. And, come back here, share your thoughts. I said the same thing yesterday. I am still probably going to do some kind of spoiler video, either maybe on Sunday or early next week, where we can really kind of delve into, give you guys a chance, most of you a chance to have seen the movie, and then we can kind of really delve into what happened in the movie and my thoughts on it and stuff. It's really hard to kind of go into it when, you're doing a non-spoiler review. So I just giving you my basic thoughts in that, but there's a lot of things that happen in the movie that I really kind of want to delve into and peel back. I'm going to be going to see the movie. I may see it this weekend, I don't know, but I'm definitely going to see it early next week. I'm actually going to see it at a 4DX theater, which is where they kind of do like shakes your seat, and they like the environment in the theater actually kind of supposed to help the viewing process. I've never been to a 4DX movie theater before, and I think they are in this area are brand new, so there's not a lot of them. So I'm kind of interested to see what that's going to be like, seeing this movie and with something like that. So that's early next week, and I'll tell you about it in a later video. But again, check back in a couple days, and I probably will do a more in-depth video about the movie itself and such, where we can really kind of discuss things. All right, so that's it for today. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video, and follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. Links to those are in the video description as well. Enjoy Endgame when you go to see it, and until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.